Hey guys, what's up? It's a Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies, and today I shall resume doing another movie review on a movie that came out of Hong Kong. And yeah, today I will be talking about Do, or The Blade, by Tsui, or in English, Tsui, Hark. And this movie is released in the year 1995 and is loosely, and when I say loosely, I mean very, very loosely based on the movie One Armed Swordsman, or Do, released in the year 1967. Also came out of Hong Kong, written and directed by Zheng Qi. Before I start talking about this movie, it is important for people to know that this genre of movies and stories in general is an incredibly important genre in Hong Kong and China as well. And this is called 谋好, or in Mandarin 武侠. And this is basically a kind of story where I would call Eastern. However, if I use the word Eastern to describe this, I may confuse you guys because this isn't like some parody of Western films or anything. In fact, Eastern films, which usually follow outlaws in the middle of nowhere in China with a sword and a backpack fighting bad guys, has been a story ever since the early Tang Dynasty. But it is only in the 1920s when stories like this in novel format became really popular, especially for the writer Gum Yong, who is considered as the father of novels like this, of 谋好小说 in general. And essentially these novels are adapted into movies and also inspire movies. And calling this genre of movie martial arts is also not exactly correct, because again, these are technically Easterns, like Westerns are Westerns. These are Easterns, where we have a hero who is at a lower hand in the beginning of the film, and with faith, determination, and a sword and a backpack and maybe a couple of unlikely help, the main character would defeat bad guys. And it usually is set in Imperial China. And so we have Do, which follows pretty much a similar story, where we have the main character, which is Deng On. He is a part of a group of Buddhists who are responsible for making swords in a sword factory, swordsmith. In the same clan of swordsmiths, we also have the character of Tito, or Ironhead, and he is actually played by a famed Hong Kong actor that is Chen Ho, or Moses Chan. And he's usually the more impulsive one, the ruder one, and the one who has less determination. And so Deng On and Deng On and Tito, they are friends. And one day they were doing some shopping and they found a monk basically dead. And Tito was like, oh my goodness, we must avenge that monk. But of course, given that they are a Buddhist clan, violence is not good. So the head of the swordsmith clan tried to stop it, but that didn't really make anything safer for anyone, where essentially those people who killed the monk killer clan, they became the enemies of the swordsmith clan, and they have been trying to kill the swordsmith clan. And all at the same time, Deng On has been looking for the person who killed his father, who will go on to work with the monk killer clan to fight the swordsmith clan towards the end of the movie. So yes, first of all, let's talk about the cons of this movie, something that I didn't like about this movie. This movie is directed in a way where, in a lot of the scenes, I just don't know what the fuck is going on. There are just so many close-ups. The editing is really choppy, and the camera is always really shaky, where I just don't really know what's going on. And that is pretty much the biggest con about this movie that I can think of. Another thing about this movie is that the sound effects are very unconvincing. There is a lot of dubbing in this movie, and also there are a lot of Foley effects that are just being repeatedly used over and over and over again to a point where it's very unbelievable. But aside from that, this movie is surprisingly well paced and dense, very dense. At only around 1 hour and 40 minutes, we cover a story that has a lot of ups and downs. Again, we have the characters of Beng-on and Ki-tao, and for a majority of the movie, they're actually separated and they have separate adventures, but they sort of converge their paths again towards the end. This movie is also somewhat narrated by a girl whom Beng-on and Ki-tao also like, and that girl's the daughter of the boss of the swordsmith clan. On top of that, I think a lot of the fights are really well choreographed. Lots of martial arts and sword fighting, which is fancy, I guess. Especially the final fight. A lot of the fights in this movie, especially the fights in the middle, is just kind of one-sided, but towards the end, that fight was legit kinda intense, and I really enjoyed it. And I guess I'm just gonna end it here. This movie didn't blow my mind or anything, but I think the story is bold, it's dense. I like the idea that Hark has sort of transformed a story that is kind of okay, kind of mediocre to be honest, into something even more epic and even more bold, and I really enjoyed that. Also, there's a bit of a nihilistic message behind this movie, where at one of the scenes, the daughter of the swordsmith clan, she met another girl who is constantly being used by men, and there's this scene where that other girl seems like she's trying to seduce a big tough guy while trying to fight that big tough guy at the same time. And at some point, the daughter spoke to that girl, and that girl said that all men are like this, and so you can't trust any men. And then at the same time, you also can't trust any woman because all women also act like her. It's almost like this movie has something profound to say, but I guess it never really went anywhere, especially when the ending isn't really related to that message. Not really, but I just thought it's a bit of a strange touch to add such a oddly specifically strange scene in the middle of the movie when that girl isn't even like an important character or anything. But yeah, aside from that, I'd say it's a really entertaining movie. I enjoy it. It didn't blow me away, but yeah, it's good. I am giving Do an 8 out of 10. So, have you watched Do? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I'm going to review another Hong Kong movie in my next movie review. Yay.